call the meeting to order. I want to welcome everybody, and Steve Ayers from Lifeline Connect Church will give the opening prayer. Then blessing.
Let's pray. Lord, again, we just thank you for our health. We thank you for this new year. Lord, we do pray and we ask that you give us guidance and wisdom as we go into this new year. Lord, I pray for all the people that put such time and effort into helping our village. Lord, give them wisdom and guidance. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Steve. Roll call.
Barth.
Here.
Bassett.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Klepper.
Here.
Egley. Here. And Beverly is absent.
Okay, first on the agenda, nomination, election of council president. Open the floor for nominations or nomination.
Nominate Eric Bassett.
Second. Okay, any other nominations?
Nominate Charlie. You up for it?
Yeah,
This ought to be good.
sure.
Okay,
It'd take long. You talked him into it.
Huh?
You've been asking him.
so I'd like to have the nominations closed, be the next, unless you want to nominate somebody else.
I'm just saying, the reason why I nominate somebody, you've had it now 2 this year?
2 years, yeah.
Two,
I text both of them a couple weeks ago and asked them if they were interested in it. Thought it'd be good for somebody else to have a chance to do it
Right.
sometime, and
Yeah.
didn't know if work schedule fit a lot.
He's done by 2 every day, aren't you?
Got to do mayor's court, whoever does it, and then when I'm going a couple times a year. Okay, do we have a nominations closed?
He did.
He did? Okay.
In a second.
So how do we
I'll
set
second
this?
that.
Okay. So how do we do this? We raise hands or?
All in favor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
And then raise the hands of, or is it roll call?
Never
It's roll
had.
call.
Roll
Yeah,
call.
we've done it before, it's roll call.
Roll call. No secret ballot.
Yep.
No, can't. So when you do roll call, you say who you want? Is that who you do? Is that how you do it? Okay.
Fair enough.
So we have a second to close and nominations, and so roll call.
Barth.
Charlie?
Egley. Charlie. Bassett.
Charlie?
Klepper.
Charlie.
Martin.
Eric.
Okay, congratulations, Charlie. Be a pleasure to work with you.
Class going through January.
Okay, I'll have you sit up here next week. Right-hand man, right?
He's got to learn how to
And he
dispense
said he
justice.
can't make the next meeting, by the way.
Okay, I'll be here.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, is Dave Golden from HIX Solar. Dave, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you,
You've
Mayor
got the
Jones.
floor.
Thank you, council, for having us here this evening. Dave Golden, Community Affairs and Governmental Relations with HIX Solar. We're a utility-scale solar developer. And our goal tonight is to give you a brief update on our happenings in and around Hicksville. So I've been involved in Hicksville going back to the summertime. We had sponsorship for the fair, enjoyed the rodeo this year. More recently, in November, we sponsored an Opera House event, a beautiful facility, glad to have done that. And just last month, I was at the school and also the splash pad to help contribute to those causes. So we're big believers in being community partners, being early in the community. This is a long process. And I'm here to introduce a couple of my colleagues to help talk a little bit more about where we are in our process. And again, I'm always here to answer questions and be contacted if you need any questions answered. So again, I'm Dave. We have Kevin DeWine, he's our consultant, a lot of state experience. And Erin Garsick, our developer, and she's going to come up and give you some more info. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name's Erin Garsick, project developer for this project, which we call MINC. I don't know if you guys have heard that yet. It's starting to slowly circulate in the community. So really we're just here tonight because we know that this project is located close to the village. And you inevitably are going to get questions and concerns from residents. And so we just wanted to introduce ourselves, let you know that we're here as a resource, we're here as a contact. We'll leave business cards tonight. Sometime in January, we're going to be sending out a mailer to all the neighbors of the project, just letting them know that, hey, this project is, located near you. It'll have more information. We'll be launching a project website. There'll be a one-sheeter that kind of has a little bit more information specifically about this project, as well as solar in general. So again, we're going to circulate all of that in the community. Also, just kind of wanted to give you an overview of our current project timeline. So right now, we are kind of trying to wrap up land, which is why we're here tonight and why we're going to be circulating more information in the community, is because once that's kind of wrapped up, that's when we'll, kind of start the application process to the state, the Ohio Power Siting Board. And so one of the requirements for the Ohio Power Siting Board is 2 public information meetings. And so this project is a dual county project. So we're in Defiance, but we're also in Paulding, near Antwerp, and in Carroll Township. And so those 2 public information meetings will be really helpful. We're planning on hopefully holding one, more in Defiance near Hicksville, and then one in Paulding, closer to Antwerp. And that'll just be an opportunity for people to come and ask questions. We'll have subject matter experts. We'll have people from GNEX to just kind of answer any questions. And at that time, there will be a map available. I know that's like the huge hot topic right now, is we've had a lot of people asking for maps, and we will hopefully be ready to share a map in February or March. And happy to field any questions. But again, we just wanted you guys to know that we're here, and we don't want you to have to field all the questions and concerns. Feel free to pass them on to us. That's what we're here for.
How many acres are you thinking approximate?
Yeah, so industry standard is usually 7-10 acres per megawatt. This project will be a 140 megawatt project. We have run preliminary kind of just checks on, where are we going to build the actual project. And I can tell you that the amount of acreage that will actually have panels on it will be very, very small compared to the 7 to 10 acres per megawatt standard. And so, the state has a very regulated process. Through OPSB, we're required to, abide by setbacks. They'll no doubt run into environmental issues where we'll have to build around those. So we always acquire more land than we need just because of kind of those constraints.
Are you guys looking to purchase the land or long-term lease?
Long-term lease.
Okay. And then you're looking for one solar field that would be in both communities, not
Yep.
not two separate. So you're shooting for that area.
Yeah. Yep. So, it'll just kind of go down through, because it all has to connect. So
Yeah.
through easements,
Mm-hmm.
mostly is kind of how it'll all come together.
Yeah. Do you guys have other solar fields operational around here?
Not in Ohio. So the one that is closest, it's called Fox Squirrel. It's in Madison County. So it just broke construction in November. And so it's under construction right now. But we do have 10 operational solar fields in North Carolina. That's kind of where our company started. That's where our headquarters are, or our headquarters is. Me and Dave are local, both born and raised in Ohio. I live in Licking County. He lives in Delaware County. Yeah, our headquarters is in Charlotte. We have an office in Dublin, Ohio, too.
What attracted GNEX to Northwest Ohio?
Yeah, there's a number of reasons, right? So, primarily look for flat land, and it's where there's capacity on the grid. And so there is capacity on the grid in this area. There's a lot of capacity on the grid. And so that's kind of where we how we make our decision. Yeah.
I was going to ask, when you look for property and stuff like this within like city or village limits, I know some communities around here had a big impact because it was kind of impeding on their village limits and growth for their village. Do you kind of take that into account, where certain parameters and where you would position your solar fields so that wouldn't hinge upon village growth or city growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal is to, find the best land where we can connect to the grid and make the project financially feasible while also mitigating any impact to the surrounding communities. So absolutely. And I mean, when we look at the design of the solar farm, we take into account, where are the nearest neighbors? We obviously want to impact them as least as we possibly can. And we obviously don't want to, put panels very, very close to the village where it's very dense and there's a lot of houses. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Awesome.
Other questions?
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
thanks, Aaron. Okay, anybody else want to speak? You guys good?
I'm good.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. I know
We get free power for like lifetime or something? I don't understand. I forgot that second.
Actually, I do. Where's the power going to go?
Yeah, so, science says that wherever the electrons are needed, that's where they're gonna flow.
Yeah.
Obviously, with big solar, facilities like this, there are usually power purchase agreements.
Yeah.
Most of the time, though, that power purchase agreement is just someone like Amazon buying basically a
Correct.
credit from
Yeah.
AEP. But the power will actually go on the grid where it's, produced, because that's naturally how the electrons flow.
Yeah. So you typically, but you market credits. So are you marketing towards like Columbus or like all the windmills? A lot of the credits went to Columbus. Is that?
We are not that far along in the process. That usually comes much later, just because the state application process is very long.
Mhm.
And so usually that happens at a later stage.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I haven't heard anything negative. You came to my office, was 6 months ago, maybe? And we sat down, and you said, if anybody talks to me negative, let you know, and I haven't had one, so that's good. And I will, somebody, I'll say. Yeah.
Can't make her work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. Approval of the December 19th regular council meeting minutes. Get a chance to look those over. Have a safe trip back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Make a motion to approve as written.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Bassett?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Clipper?
Yes.
Egley?
Yes.
Barth?
Yes.
You have before you the bills. Did they all, I think they all got up to everybody, right? Quite a few. Any questions?
The energy optimizers, those lighting upgrades. I know Corey's not here, but didn't we already pay? Was there just a
This is a balance.
just a balance on? So are they done with
They're
their
done,
install?
they're done, yeah.
The one I had was, I see we paid Alexander Bebo the full amount, and I know they still owe us a couple, at least 2 revisions for that price, so just want to make sure that was noted. Because that $2,500 was for up to 3 revisions of the prints, and they've only given us 1 so far, so we haven't met again really to go over more details, because the biggest problem was locations where it would fit best in Hicksville. And how they design it is kind of dependent on what lot we can purchase or, gain.
Joel had a question.
Energy Optimizers, company that's installing all the LED lights
Yep.
in town, they are not done at the plant at all. They've known this for several months. They come back, leave, They're not done. Just so you know.
Should we hold up the payment to them until they're completed?
Did Corey say it was okay to pay, or?
I guess I don't know what the invoice amount is though. Like, are they invoiced fully? Do you know, based on their proposal?
Except for the $1,000 that they gave us credit for at the end.
And I would say no, we shouldn't be paying
I
that if they're
know
not
Corey
done.
for a fact has been in contact with them. So they're just,
I know they came
They have
back
not done a
a
very
week or,
good job.
they come back 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know if they finished up or not, because they were supposed to be scheduling a post walkthrough with Corey to verify everything was done. I don't know if that's ever been done though.
he hasn't been out in the plant, as far as I know, to talk with them, walk through. We know everything that needs to be finished, and we're just waiting for them to come back. I think the only thing that's done, and not for sure, but plant is the only thing that's not done, as far as I know. So, just so you guys are aware of that.
Okay, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, I'd say hold it.
If they're not wrapped up, I don't think we should approve that.
I agree with that. I don't have a vote, but I agree with that.
I agree with you too. We can always wait until Corey's here to say whether or not they're done or not.
Yeah.
Anything else on the bills?
Well, did Corey submit that bill, or did they submit it to the village? The final?
They submitted it, he approved it.
Oh, really?
I meant to ask them about that, by the way, I didn't mean to interrupt, but, because I have not seen them for at least 3 weeks. They're in for about an hour or two and left. So,
I spoke with a guy, I can't remember his name, Rusty maybe or something. I spoke with him and they said they're supposed to finish up that next day. They're coming back 2 days in a row. Because they were gonna go to the PD and work on some lights. And they had one in here, I believe, that they had to do, and they were gonna finish up and then schedule a meeting with Corey, but I didn't know if they ever did the walkthrough or not.
Do we know what happened with the concrete saw? Does anybody know? That saw's only like 6 months old, I thought. Why would you, like the cost of repair is almost as much as do you have any idea on that?
I haven't heard about that concrete saw, no.
That's almost the price of
I
purchase.
didn't know if he purchased more.
Well, that concrete, so that walk behind concrete saw got purchased, I might have been last year, it might have been a year ago, maybe. I think Corey was the one that purchased it, not Kent.
Right.
And I want to say that might have been $2,500 or $3,000.
Yeah, when I seen the invoice in there, I didn't know if he had purchased more or not. Because there's 2 invoices, 13815 and 13816.
Where's that at? Which page is that on?
Third
3 or
page,
4,
about 3/4 way down,
bottom.
Schmucker Motor Repair.
Yeah, okay.
That's where they purchased them at too.
Do you know, Cheryl, are those repair bills? Or is that a new saw?
No, the repair bills. I don't know exactly what was done, but I can pull it out.
Work was done, if the work was done, we probably should pay the bill, but I'd be curious to know what that is.
I'll ask Corey tomorrow about it. So you want to withhold that then, or not?
I would be okay with paying that one.
I'd be okay with paying that one too.
The work was done.
But you want to withhold the lighting people?
I think that would be a wise decision,
Okay,
especially
I'll
based
check on that too.
it's gone.
Okay.
I don't have
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to pay the bills except that one.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Second. Roll call.
Barth,
Yes.
Egley,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Clipper,
Abstain.
Martin.
Yes.
Okay, you have before you HIX-TV minutes. They met November the 12th. The minutes are in your packet. Any questions on that?
What exactly is the TriCaster?
It's a mobile, let me stand up here. I would yell at people for not going up to the microphone and talking. The TriCaster is essentially a small unit. It's a mobile studio. It allows for you to connect multiple audio-video sources and connect it to a monitor. And it's basically like one of those, a video switcher or whatever, that you can take with you from one place to another. It's expandable up to a certain point, and it's sort of like the next logical step for us. We have a meeting with the school board next week on Wednesday. Myself, Mr. Josh Freese, who's the teacher who does their broadcasting classes at Hicksville High School, and 2 or 3 members of our HIX-TV board are hopefully going to be there. We're going to meet with the school board. They're planning on expanding their broadcasting class as well. So we wanted to work in partnership. We do so much of our broadcasting based on school events, and we rely heavily on school-age kids as our volunteers. So they were looking at buying one themselves, so we figured we would sit down and see if we can work out a thing where we would purchase the TriCaster, they would purchase the other elements for the studio that they're in the process of building, and then they would have the ability to use our equipment just as they do now with the equipment we already have, and we would be able to use their equipment and their studio space and so forth. So it's just sort of take the next step and become an even slicker broadcast capabilities and add a lot of stuff and hopefully get more kids involved and just be able to improve overall the services we provide to the community that the school does too, so.
Sounds great. Appreciate you. Looking forward.
Yep. I don't know if Mike needs to officially bring it before you, but we have, we did some studying, we got together, and we wanted to make some minor changes to our committee bylaws and guidelines. We want to reduce the number of people on the cable committee from the current 9 down to 7. That's simply because people are so busy, it becomes more and more, and with 9 people, the quorum is larger, so we wanted to reduce the number of board members to reduce the number necessary for a quorum. And also we wanted to cut back on the number of times we meet from monthly to quarterly. And that's simply because we've got to the point now where a lot of the station kind of just runs itself, and we don't need to get together that often to approve major purchases or go over anything. And of course, we would still be able to call special meetings at any time. But yeah, there is just several. And we also just wanted to change some of the wording. We hadn't changed the wording for so long. It still had that the one of the members was and the financial officer was the village clerk treasurer, which is no longer in existence. So we wanted to change the wording of that and make Cheryl or that would be a non-voting, non-attending member, but they would still be the financial officer, and just clean up some of the language a little bit or whatever. So I think Mike has to officially do it, but I would like to request that the council approve those bylaw changes for us that would take effect this month.
Any
And
questions?
if anybody has any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
I'll entertain a motion to accept those bylaw changes.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Second. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Clipper,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Egley. Yes. Barth.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And the council representative, I'm making a change, taking Mike off and putting Tony Egley on as the council representative. As the first year, he graciously accepted. So do we have to vote on that, Cheryl? I don't think so. Okay. Thanks, Tony. Council committee reports. There were none submitted. Okay.
I have a question. Did you change any of the council committees, or everybody stayed the same?
Everybody stayed the same. I was going to report that in my mayor's
Oh, okay.
report,
I'm
but I
sorry.
can announce it now.
Well, I didn't know if you revamped some of them, but.
I think the committees are really doing a good job. There's a lot on their plate. Ordinance committee's really busy right now, and I just like how things are going, so I'm going to keep it the same. Any other questions? Administrator's report, that's in the packet. Any questions on that?
So Corey greenlit Top Timber to take all the trees down. They're starting to do demo, removing items from the pool house. Why are we starting that before we actually have a plan? Something like that. Once you get into starting that, a lot of times that's all just much more cohesive if you have your contractor on board that schedules all the demo, does all of that coordinating ahead of time. I just don't understand why we're pushing that if we don't have a plan.
Well, I'd say the main reason for the tree line, I'll say, is just, and relocating the volleyball courts was mainly because the Hicksville Community Fund wanted the location before the splash pad, and give them a blessing of that area. And that'd be the only reason. Now, for demo and the pool house or anything, I'm not a fan of that yet. I still think we should wait until bids come in and find out if they can do it when they're already on site and possibly do it cheaper. And plus, they're already the ones digging it all up and know what they're gonna find for when they put everything back together.
Backfill,
so,
yeah. Well, and this, as far as scope of trees being removed and all of that stuff, there's plan on taking the whole line down? I mean, do we,
That's what that's what his plans were, Corey's were.
it's, I mean, even if that's not the scope of, even if this construction doesn't go all the way down that far, I mean, it seems silly to take everything down just for the sake of taking things down, in my opinion. It just, especially if the construction of the pool is not gonna go all the way down to the tennis courts, or we don't have any of those bounds yet. I know that, like the skate park, for instance, those ramps get super hot, and if that's where the skate park's gonna stay, I mean, you're losing all that, any of that shade on that also. It just seems like we're rushing into that before we have a plan.
I can talk to Corey about it tomorrow if you wish, if that's the council's wishes. But does anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I'd say Corey, to his defense, he's not been invited to any of the meetings with the pool, so he hasn't set in on anything. So he doesn't want to be the one where they're waiting on him to get stuff done. So he budgeted all the line items with the impression, I think, that they want to move forward as fast as possible because they want the goal was to have the splash pad up and running in 2023. So to have the splash pad up and running, you're looking at 6 months out. I mean, to have it. And so if he waits 3 or 4 months to start getting quotes and getting people on the schedule, you run out of time. And I know that one back row of trees that's in our report about they could save money by not removing those on the whole pool when they list out all the items. I think Corey would want to move those just because of how dirty. I know it's a little bit of shade, a little bit, but he said it's just dirty when for cleaning the pool. A lot of leaves, or I don't know what it is. He just said they produce a lot of dirt in that area. But I think he was maybe just trying to jump on it so people won't wait on him.
Any other thoughts?
I was gonna ask Val and Gary, I mean, they're down there, they've cleaned the pool for how many years now? I mean, are those trees, you think those trees wouldn't,
They're dirty.
and are they,
That evergreen.
that whole row of evergreens, and they're kinda getting sparse and dying in some areas, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but,
You know,
Because that's the row there between the pool and the pavilion. That row there is the one that they said could probably stay.
oh,
Yep.
it is, I don't know who.
Well, that's what that's the ones Corey's, we're looking to take down, plus all the ones that are over there by the sand volleyball court in between by the pavilion. The quote he got from Top Timber was for all those trees, so.
Did he include the proposal for any of that from Top Timber? The only proposal I recall seeing was from Yoder Excavating.
I think he did when did he submit that to finance?
I don't
Remember?
remember seeing it, I mean.
Top Timber one? I'd have to go back and look at that.
It just seems like, and obviously we're going to be getting into the pool here a little bit later. Everybody needs to be on the same page, in my opinion. Especially if Corey hasn't been included in any of these conversations, so he's just running in this direction when the committee could be going this whole other direction. So that's why
I've asked for them to include them.
That's why I don't think it's wise to start down that path until we really do have a plan, because it's the same thing with construction, and obviously we're kind of getting into that pool discussion, but I can save that for that section, for that part of council.
Okay.
Well, it makes sense, but like I said, I think if Corey can be part of these upcoming meetings
Yeah, I
for the
agree.
design and everything, and if they say, okay, this tree can stay, it'd be a nice shade tree for the splash pad area, and, you know, it makes sense, and then, you know, I think Val and Gary should be part of that too. Kind of thing, if they're gonna help operate the pool and chemicals and different things like that, so.
So you want Corey to go ahead with that, take the trees down, or you want to?
I'd probably wait. I mean, have them talk to the committee or the design people. And, I mean, it's.
I would probably wait too, just because I'm not sure what their quote was, but I know just like when Bancrest was being built right now, the general contractor took down all the trees along 18. That was part of their job. I mean, I'm sure they had it included in their price, but I don't know what their price was for doing that compared to what, you know, our local contractor. It's nice to do work local, so it'd be nice to hire them to do the work. They do great work, but also if the general contractor's gonna be on site and it's part of their scope, it's how much money we can get out.
He was doing it as a donation.
Oh. Kinda hard to beat
FYI.
that.
It is, but at the same time, if the contractor's got to go dig stumps out instead of grinding.
Right.
There's just, yeah, you can't beat the donation part. And definitely nice of Top Timber to donate that. Big thing is just, and I don't know, he may have already started. I haven't been down to the park. So
I don't think so.
I think it's something that we should.
Some of the
coordinate.
trees were going anyway because they're dead.
So I'll just have him hold off a little bit. Is that
That's
okay?
my opinion.
Okay, I've got 3 things I gotta talk to him about. Any other reports? Okay, administrator's report, solicitor's report.
I don't have anything major. I probably should have said it before when Bill was talking. He did have me review those changes that he made. I did that before the last meeting. I think I sent him an email and gave my blessing and pointed a couple things out or whatever. So, in case anybody wondered about that, all I really have, I guess, is at the end, I'd ask that we do a quick executive session to talk about possible litigation that we talked about at the last meeting.
Any questions for Troy?
I do actually have a question. I was at Joel. I kind of forgot about. Do we have an update? What are we doing with all the extra sludge? How are we handling all of that?
There's several different directions we can go. I've worked with all of them.
I guess I'll preface with last meeting, Corey said we basically had a week to decide, a week or two to decide what we're going to do. It could be up to an additional $150,000 just to get rid of the sludge.
Still could be. We're hoping to buy time. That's the thing. Irregardless, we're gonna have to spend money to get rid of it. So, still have a full tank. We have a little bit of room. We had Haviland Energy come in. They run an anaerobic digestion plant. They have their own permit, so we can send our sludge to them temporarily. They can process it, store it. They spread it like a farmer does. Farmers just can't take it nowadays, and now this time of year because the ground is frozen. It might be 60 degrees today, but tomorrow it could be 35, 20 degrees freeze. They just can't take it. So Haviland is the only place we can take it where they can process it. Now, they're pricey, they're expensive. That's why we are hoping to get on things a little bit quicker. It's just farmers, I mean, they're busy. I understand that. We're waiting for results back from one of the farmers' fields, so I can submit that to the EPA. He's been, I know, I've talked to Mark Greer, and Corey's talked to Mark. He's just waiting on the results to get back. We're going alleys that way. We want to go that way because long term we think it was going to be a lot cheaper. But we're kind of strapped right now because of the weather. We're trying to finish up getting rid of that sludge in the tank, but we're just trying to create a little more space, see where we're at with the settling in that tank. There's just a lot to try to explain. If you guys come down to the plant, I can explain it a lot easier. A visual will just put everything in perspective. But all that sludge is old, we have to get rid of it. So whether it's by land application, whether it's by the landfill, or it's by going to Haviland Energy, those are our 3 options. Right now, the only option we really do have is Haviland Energy.
Did we know that we were going to have this issue, say 2 months ago or a month ago?
It's always been in discussion because we're still running into that problem. We can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I've been back and forth with Corey discussing our possible alleyways to get rid of it. Everything is going to cost a lot of money to get rid of it. So it's been in discussions. Just trying to do our best with the time we have. I'm trying to move it around.
Any of that
If
discussed?
that makes sense.
Yeah. Was any of that discussed in budget at all? Okay.
It would come out of the sewer budget, so, would you have to put that in the budget? Capital project like that? Or is that just an expense?
Based on last meeting, what Corey was saying is this is an additional $100,000 to $150,000 that would have to come out of capital projects.
To get ahead of it,
A sewer project.
But it's still capital projects.
Yeah.
Fine.
to get ahead, in order for that plant to run properly, we have to waste out of that plant every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We're to capacity. So I've had to slow down our wasting to try and, we're still meeting all of our limits. We're not ruining anything with the EPA. Everything's still running correctly. But if I have to slow it down anymore, I our plant will go backwards. It already has gone backwards a little bit, not a lot. But I can't waste as much because I can't take as much out. For everything we have come in the plant, we have to take that much out every single day. Now that we're behind, we have to take more out. Now that that tank's the capacity, we try to take a little bit out to see if it helps the tank, help settling in that tank. So every time we shut off the blower, we take off water. That creates capacity. Well, since we're already to capacity, we're kind of fighting that wasting thing and trying to get it out at the same time. We're trying to find places to put it. And yes, you're right, it was not budgeted, but we're kind of like stuck in a spot to where it's an emergency where we have to get it out.
Yeah, and I understand that
Yeah, I didn't
it's
know, I
the
just-
budget thing is the part that kind of irritates me because, and I'm not putting this on you necessarily, it's the fact that we knew that this was going to be an issue on wasting, and that should have been something that we budgeted, especially if it's going to be at the magnitude of 100 to 150.
This year? You mean?
For 2023's budget. Based on last meeting, Corey said we have no money budgeted for this wasting process. And then he said that it could be $100 to $150,000 of issue.
I can have, I wish I would have had several spreadsheets back in the plant. There's a company that'll come in and press it, then we can haul off to the landfill, we'll haul off to the farmers, or even take it to Haviland. All those three options. That can be expensive, but it resolves all of our issues overnight. They can literally come in probably 3 days and resolve it. Yeah, it's gonna be very expensive. It'll cost anywhere from $55,000 to $60,000. Right in there. I
Yep,
apologize.
you're fine.
You can't do the entire thing because of the weather.
Yep.
There's a lot of different factors that played into this, what happened. The diffusers, lines, blower issues. But
Do we have any idea, so the other tank where stuff did freeze, do we have any idea on the damage there yet?
we're continuing to work on it. I mean, we're working on it little by little. We have half of it that's assembled. Some of it's still okay, some of it's not okay. We're still trying to find a room to put the sludge that's still in that tank. So that's what we're gonna work on tomorrow. We worked on a little bit today, just jockeying things around, trying to get everything else done. We're making progress. It's just gonna be slow, but yeah.
But it's, so I guess that, all that to say, you need to basically make a decision here in the next short amount of time on what you're gonna do with the sludge, correct?
Yeah. What I was trying to do was minimize it. If we can have a little bit taken out to Haviland at a time, if we get fresh enough sludge in that tank, it might allow it to settle a little bit better. So there's really no way of knowing besides just getting rid of the whole tank. Then we just start fresh. I can make sure that plant runs like clockwork.
Yeah.
You know, but we could take out 20,000 at a time, we could take out 50,000 at a time. And that might help out the tank a little bit, get us by to spring. This was my mentality. I've talked with Corey about this. It's gonna cost us money. Yeah, we'll be nickel and diming things, just trying to get us by. But by that time, we can have haulers set up for farm fields, as long as we get everything approved to them. We have storage. We can store on their sites for up to 90 days. I explored that. They won't, as far as I know, they don't give extensions. So what I say that because everything that's in our beds, we can take out and start getting rid of what's in our tanks.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it'll create more space. So Corey and I were discussing if we can keep working through the winter, try to get that tank done. The tank that's down has issues with it. Get it done. We can put that back online so we can start wasting into that tank. And then we can pick up production, get everything back into shape again.
So you have a plan?
We have a plan. Ideally, you know, I'm just trying to think of the money aspect while at the same time let's do the best we can. I know it's gonna cost money, but there is somewhat of a plan in place.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Any other
you.
questions?
Hopefully that
Yep.
made that clear. But I do invite you guys to come down to the plant because you can see what's going on, and when you can see the everyday operations, it helps everybody understand how that works. So,
When you guys are down there working right now, when's a good time to maybe, if somebody does want to stop down there and take a look at it, when would be a good time in the next couple of days?
I can give you guys my cell phone number, and you can pop in. Most of the time, if we're not out, we check the collection system in the morning, so 99% of the time, from 9:30 on, we're down at the plant. So we've been working a lot in the collection system with all the rain. We've had a lot of issues with defiance, so.
Other
Stop in and
comments?
see the truck.
You're there, okay.
Thanks, Joel.
Okay, department heads, police chief, not here. Fire and EMS, Scott?
Got some good news and some bad news. Where do you want to start?
The good news. The good news.
The good news is we got the Marks grant for the year. They're paying $1,680 of our user fees for our portable and mobile radios. So we got that going for us. The truck is in Cridersville. I went and seen it Friday. They've got some stuff to finish up on it down there. I got to get with Cheryl and find the money to pay for it, and we'll be able to bring it home probably next week maybe, get it done. We got denied the AFG grant for last year, was for a new hose. We can resubmit that grant through a grant writer for a fee of $500. It's about an $80,000 grant probably, 75 to 80,000.
Do you know why we got turned down?
They don't tell you that. We was in it till the very end, so we were close. I think they probably just ran out of money.
What hose
It-
is going to replace?
It replaced our 5-inch, our 2.5, and our 1 3/4, all our fire hose.
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah, most all of
Do
it.
those have life expectancies
They
on
do.
them?
And we're way past on, especially the 2.5, that's getting old. We test it every year, but NFPA still has standards, and I don't remember what that one is. I think it's 20 years. So,
You're past that point.
yeah,
So that was the bad news?
it gets worse.
Oh, okay. Say, okay.
Once we get the new truck in and in service, I'm going to send engine 504 out for service. They're going to do the engine service on it, change oil and stuff, inspect it all, service the pump, test the pump, and replace a few things on it that we've been having continuing problems with. They're going to replace the primers with what is called an air primer, something new. It's on this new truck. It uses the truck air and it keeps the prime going all the time, so you're not losing prime.
And this is the truck you've had trouble with?
Yes.
Your main pumper?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And there's a couple valves we're gonna have them look at, and rough estimate is 6,000 to 7,000. Pretty much everything wiped out on it.
But you got to have good equipment, reliable. That's the
Right.
key.
Question,
Yes.
your budget was, it's not, that kind of expense was not built in your budget, I would assume, or correct?
I'll have to look and we'll find it somehow. There was some repairs factored in, but
I don't think there were 67,000.
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
6 to 7.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said 67
I did too.
too.
6 to 7.
My hearing wasn't up.
When you said 6 to 7, I thought that's cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Wow.
Great news.
Okay.
But hopefully, barring anything breaking down on that truck, it'll be done for the year. So.
Is that the bad news?
Yeah.
Saved $60,000.
It's all about perspective.
Yep.
The price of the, what do we still owe on the fire truck? I forget, 25?
45, 190.
Where will that come from? Because that's not coming out of his budget, correct? That was separate?
It's got to come out of the budget. We'll find it. Have faith.
It's a good question.
Heard what I said.
Does the new truck come with new hoses?
Yes, there's some new hose over there for it. We have the hose, they have some, and we have the hose and the nozzles, they have some fittings and stuff they gotta get put on. There's a problem with the auto eject, which is where the power plugs in. It automatically kicks the cord out when you start the truck. They were working on that when I was down there. So,
And we'll keep both trucks in service?
no. We will have to take the old truck out of service because it was a FEMA grant. It can no longer be in fire service.
So what's the plan with the old truck?
Sell it.
We're just gonna get a service first?
No, not that truck, the tanker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get 6,000 or 7,000 for it? That'd be a nice one.
About
I
45.
would think we'd probably get more than that.
All right. So we found a little bit of that money.
I don't think we'll get the 45, but
Questions for the chief?
thank you.
Yep, thanks, Scott. Park Director, Val, nothing? Any questions for the Park Director? Okay, Fiscal Officer's report.
We just want to talk about,
Oh,
it wasn't
I'm sorry.
on hers, I had asked Cheryl to have a splash pad. I had sent an email out here a few weeks ago. I know the Hicksville Community Funds still raising funds and doing fundraisers for the splash pad, and we were given some budgetary numbers for what the total cost would be for a pool, splash pad, and a bathhouse. And you know, Cheryl kind of went to one bank and kind of tried to put some feelers out there on what our monthly payment would be and what a loan would be. And so I guess to keep things moving forward, I guess we just kind of need to decide if we're doing a pool and what style of pool,
We're doing a pool.
where the money's gonna come from.
Already got that going.
So I know at one time we talked about 2 million, and with the prices that we've gotten, if, let's just say for instance, Hicksville Community Fund, I think their goal was 800,000. But that still leaves, you know, 2.5, 2.8 million. And I know we looked one time at like 2 million. So I just want to double check that other 800,000. And I know we had money budgeted for the pool to set aside for this year. By the sounds of it, I know all the council was kind of thinking about keep moving forward with the pool, and they haven't raised their funds or given the go-ahead yet for the splash pad. So it sounded like everything, splash pad, pool house will all be up and running. I don't want to misspeak here. Maybe you might know more about this than I do, but it sounded like everything would be done at the same time frame, and it will be probably more of a start of 2024 instead of 2023.
A lot
You know
of
that,
as
for
far
sure.
as far as I understand, a lot of it's going to depend because the splash pad has to be a village project. So it's up to the village to engage in design, in construction, go out to bid, all of that stuff. So they have all the funds raised, and once again, they don't have a final design for the splash pad yet because it's a village project. So they have what they
want.
what they think they want.
Right.
But once again, it's kind of on, the village's court.
How does that work for the money? So if they're generating the money, but it's gotta be our project, do they donate that?
They donate it. They have an account set up. They have a fund set up.
So explain this to me, because we had talked about donations to the village and there being a line item for that, but we can't use that for a year?
No.
That's not true. We can use it right away?
It could be like passed through.
Yeah, so they can
I
be.
mean, they did that already, right? on
Basically,
the-
so say
whatever those
splash
other
pad
fees were.
construction, say
That was
that
on
gets
the
contracted separately.
Plan,
for
master plan, whatever they
$20,000.
called it.
Invoice one comes in for $20,000. They can write a check to the village, or they can write a check directly to the company for $20,000, and then it's basically passed through the village.
I just have to
Accounting
put it through,
system.
in and out of the books.
In and out
Okay,
of the books.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which they've already done once on that design.
Yeah, for the
whatever the
design
cost of that design was. They
Schematic
yeah,
process.
just went through our books and over to them.
I know I've spoken with Corey, and Corey's spoken with, he hasn't been involved in all the meetings, but he's spoken with Astro Pool, another company, and Astro Pool's completely said the same thing too. Stephen Truex, I think is the name, said, you need to hire an aquatics company, and that's what Hicksville Community Fund did. They did hire an aquatics company. They did design a pool. They come up with a couple different ideas for a pool, for a splash pad, and for a bathhouse. And we're pretty much to the point now of if you want to get something done for 2024, I think there's a 4-month waiting list for the health department to approve your plans. So their goal was to figure out what shape and size of a pool we want. We kind of had it narrowed down to 2. Charlie and I was in the meetings with them, and they get prices and breakdown of everything, total cost, operating expense, high, low, and average. We did. It kind of gives you ideas.
And Vortex is a member, so we're good to go, right?
Yeah, we probably should, when we get to that point, we should probably do something to document it in like a resolution or something that says, what Cheryl's saying is she joined the NPP.
Oh, okay.
Which is that co-op, for lack of a better term, purchasing co-op.
For government.
For government agencies, and as I talked about several, when it first came up, is there is a process, and again, the one thing that you can't do through that is like construction. You can purchase the equipment through there, through the cooperative, and Vortex is in the cooperative, so you can purchase all that, but on the, you gotta follow all the other rules as far as hiring somebody and the contractor and things like that,
So when I spoke with Kyle Jones with Standard Aquatics, he pretty much said that we're to the point where they need to submit something at least to the health department to at least get on their queue. And once you get on the queue, that'd be like version 1, put something out there for bid and come up with the plan, which they've already kind of designed, the 2 different pool ideas and the splash pad and kind of a pool house. Pool house doesn't have all the details on the inside yet. He said that would come along with version 2, but if you get it on the agenda or on the queue for the health department, you have 4 months to start working on things and have everything finalized by the time they go to review it. This way you can still keep moving forward. A lot of the contractors right now they talk to for pools, I'm not saying splash pads, but pools, they're already booked out until after Labor Day next year. I mean, so they're looking at, it'd be a 2023 and 2024 construction, and it'd be 2024 until the pool would be up and running to the earliest. And it's not like the splash pad was the same way too, but I know they give us some different prices for what it cost. We did a rectangular with and without 2 swim lanes, and we did a free-form with and without 2 swim lanes. And Corey just sent me this today. It was from Astro Pools. It was just kind of another idea, layout of a pool that they had with the same location. But yeah, really, the big thing is it has to be, we have to, I guess, pick out a shape at least, or have a basic bid package available, which Standard Aquatics said that they will do all that work for, like a basic bid package to put it out to bid. He said it just has to be, I think he talked to you on it, has to be like 20 days or 2 weeks or 30 days, be advertised in a newspaper.
For construction or for design?
For design part.
For design, you probably,
I think
we talked about doing, you have to do like a request for proposal or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, you may get, and the beauty of that process is you're not restricted as much as you are on, like, you go and negotiate your price then when you decide. So if you already got somebody in mind, there might be other people, and what it does is it opens your mind into looking at those other people. Nah, we still want to go with these guys, and then you go to them and negotiate a price, and you enter a contract with them for design services, and then that gets things going. So, and I don't know, I haven't been involved in meetings or whatever. I would think that's the getting close to the step that we're at.
That's my opinion. No offense to you or you, but I don't think that the village, the new pool that's going to be for the next 75 years, the design should be just you two.
We said that from the beginning.
In my opinion. So I think if we could get the RFP process up and running, get a design firm selected, and actually go public with the whole design process, get public engagement, like I think that's going to get us a much better product.
So I will say, I didn't hire them. I mean, Kyle Jones of Standard Aquatics. We were invited to the meeting, and Ron had selected Charlie and I to attend them.
Yep.
And,
So we were involved
yeah,
at least.
Yeah,
absolutely. And to them, they've already designed the pool. They've already designed the splash pad. They've designed the pool house. And so they're hoping it just pretty much gets put out as they're designed for the most part.
And I understand that. I mean, this is schematics.
Yep.
Right.
This isn't design. This is lines on paper. It's not construction drawings or
Correct.
anything. So, once again, just because it might be a little bit of rework.
Oh no.
I don't. My opinion. I don't think. I think we need community involvement in the design of the pool, and especially if it's going to be 2024 now anyway. I'd be curious to know what the process is just to get us on the queue. Can we take this and then can we end up with a completely different product over that 4 months? What does that look like? But I think we should get the RFP written yesterday, get that advertised, so then we can really start the design process and basically greenlight the whole thing, my opinion.
I don't disagree at all.
And then obviously kind of work with Cheryl, you know, if it's 2 million that we're financing, we have 650,000 set aside, plus the 800,000, our budget is X, then you can really hone in what you can afford from that standpoint. And once you have your RFP and out there, you interview firms, this is our budget, what can we get?
I don't think he sent this today. I think this was an updated one with, forgot to print off extras.
Yeah, so we'd be,
So public involvement, you know, so we need to form a committee, or what's?
I think we need to get an RFP out there for request for proposal for design, for true design. And then Standard Aquatics will submit a proposal just like
You say
everybody.
we, who's?
The village.
The village.
This is a village project.
Right.
So we have to go, through, especially with contract.
The administrator, I mean, obviously Corey hasn't since the time he's been here.
Okay.
The times we've done it, Kent used to do it like,
Fire hall. And then
Oh, I
at that
know.
point, and then at that
Things like
point,
that.
I think it would be wise to appoint a couple community members to the design team that would be at these
Okay.
meetings. Whether that's folks that are on the Hicksville Foundation board or something, not just village council. in my
Right,
opinion.
okay. But it's in Corey's court right now.
he may need a little help,
Yeah,
just because he's never done it before.
yeah, he'll need help writing the RFP.
Okay.
His assistant may need to help him.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
I guess that's my opinion. I don't
Sure.
know how everybody else
I-
feels.
No, they came here that day and had like 6 or 8 different pool designs, and the Hicksville Community Fund or Foundation and Charlie and I just kind of narrowed it down. We didn't like this one, didn't like that one. Didn't make any sense, location, everything else. And we kind of narrowed it down to 2 at the time. And of course, you know, we got different designers, different people, have
Yep.
different ideas.
Exactly.
And this is just the one Corey sent today from another company. And so there's.
Well, I think that's the
choices out
idea of
there.
the process
Yeah.
is, you may have talked to somebody already, but somebody that you've never even heard of may see it and submit, and you're all of a sudden like, wow, look at this, you know.
Well, and that's the other thing too, you know, the foundation and you guys have been meeting with Standard Aquatics and Corey's out talking with other companies doing it. Well, we've got a lot of effort going in different directions, whereas I think if we go the RFP process, everybody's on the same page, we're working towards a common goal.
How will that affect the foundation's current rendering? Because, you know, they sent out pictures.
The rendering, they were very clear, that is just a rendering, it's not the exact design.
Yep.
Okay, so they're okay with that not being the final project. We wouldn't be stepping on toes by asking someone to redesign something that they felt they've already designed.
No, and that's the thing too, is you can take that when you go into the RFP process, this is what we want for, like right here is what we want for the splash pad. Just work it into your plans.
Corey visited some pools. He has a big binder of all sorts of local pools, and he looked at them, and Paul uses one of them. He kind of likes the size of it and just the simplicity of it. And I know Astro Pools have done that one. There's pretty much 3 pool companies in Ohio that do stainless steel pools with a lifetime warranty. That's kind of how he was trying to lean towards, because we don't want to have all the issues with concrete walls and everything. And, no, I love the idea of doing the whole request for proposal and putting it out there. I think, not saying that Standard Aquatics was only hired up until the master plan, kind of. And then moving forward, if you want to design, of course, they're going to give their design for free because they've already designed it once. And then if you go with their design, you're also kind of selecting them as your contractor, and they subcontract out. ESS is the company that they normally, Patterson Pools, I think is the name of them, out of Cincinnati, I believe. That's who they normally do 90% of their work with.
Kind of along the same topic, but then how does that work when it comes time to write grants for this? Do we do the grants? Who does
Yes.
that?
It has to be on behalf of the village.
Yeah.
For insurance normally.
So you guys will sit down and work on?
Not until we have that.
Correct. And yeah, and I had that conversation with Eric too about some of the grants, you gotta be pretty far along in the project before that even exists.
Right.
But
Right.
I was kind of inquiring about some grants and was just kind of curious, like, who that falls on.
And the only other thing I want to bring up on the whole pool, and now that this is going to be pushed back a little bit, not up and running, let's say in 2023 or anything, was at one time we talked about whether or not there's concern about doing any type of levy or anything, or pool levy. Because that would have to be, if that's the way you'd want to do that, to generate some funds to help offset our costs, because the operating cost alone, it goes from, figure what our operating cost of the pool is now, maybe $9,000 or $10,000 for mechanical and stuff, and you're going to minimum of, where's that, 23,000 on average for the cheapest one, to 47,000 season. And it requires more lifeguards, and I know we closed the pool early, 2 weeks early, because we didn't have any lifeguards, so we're gonna have to try to find lifeguards and have the pool running. So I know their deadline is February something, I think, to have, if you wanted to do a levy. You're the financial lady, so you're the wizard with the money.
I'm waiting for this to get unstuck. It's kind of like you're all stuck instead of moving ahead. Still trying to have committees and meetings, and it's like, we're past that. If you want some money, and I have to go get it, I need details. I need this proposal. I need the architectural drawing. We need an architect and engineer, somebody to give me the details. So we're already there. That's what we need to get going. Otherwise, we'll be sitting here next year doing the same thing.
Yeah. I like the RFP process. That's moving us towards the right direction. It's a step closer to full design, a step closer to construction, and most grants you do need construction drawings. You need to be shovel ready. So
yes.
Obviously we're not there yet. So the RFP process is the next step. But then as far as operations, it's definitely a concern. When it comes to operations, I am not in favor of the levy funding the pool.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I think there's a lot of things going for the park, and I think if we continue to make these improvements, it might be wise to look down the road of a levy for operations and improvements, not necessarily just a pool levy.
Right.
So I think the community will support the village moving, the village is stepping up to build a new pool. Obviously, there's a more ongoing cost, and I think a lot of people appreciate the village stepping up to do that. So, and seeing a lot of the community gather around, the trail system and the pool and obvious other baseball park improvements. Softball's obviously moving towards making their improvements. So I think it's definitely something we can investigate. But I think to fund the pool, I think we need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Good discussion, thanks. Get it out so people know what's going on. Anything else, Eric? Okay. Cheryl, your report?
You have fund status report and your cash summary, revenue and expenditures through the end of December. So hopefully there's not going to be any change when I do my final numbers. If so, it won't be, I don't anticipate it being anything big. The utility and income tax reports are here. The mayor's court was not finished yet until today, but I'll send that out in an email.
Did the audit go as expected?
The audit was better than last time.
It was
In my
released.
my ballpark, it was really good.
It was
and
released
so-
today. It's online.
Yeah, they sent report there where we could see before when we came up and met here that one day with you when we could review it.
Yes, so we are published.
Okay, that's all you have. Any questions for the Cheryl? Mayor's report, going to announce the longevity bonuses. Same Bostic Police Department, 5 years. Jason Tate, Police Department, 5 years. Robert Meyer, EMT, 5 years. Cheryl Smith, 5 years. Val Shaw, 35 years. Thank you. Steve Shaw, Police Officer, 25 years. Gary, you've been down there 35 too? 33. Well,
He's getting started.
thank you.
You gotta hold on 2 more.
Yeah. Don Ish, 5 years, Beautification Committee. Stacy Limpert, fireman, 25 years. Delon Evans, fireman, 5 years. Ethan Hathaway, 5 years of fireman. John Elwood, 10 years EMS. Congratulations to you all. Thanks. State released the audit. I was going to report on that, so I already did. You guys can go online. You got the information? Okay. File deadline for, there's 2 council seats up. February 1st is the filing deadline to get on the primary. And the mayor's seat is up, so it's the same date, February 1st. So you want to go into executive session, Troy?
Make a motion to go into executive session for possible litigation.
Second. Roll call.
Who's the second?
Charlie?
Barth,
Yes.
Bassett,
Yes.
Martin. Yes. Klepper,
Yes.
Egley.
Yes.